All right, so we'll call to order the HVAC IAQ Building Committee meeting for August 1st, 2025. We'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice. All right. All right. Approval of minutes from 7-11. Racing notice. I didn't open those up again this morning.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes from Friday, July 11th, 2025, as written.
I'll second the motion. Any discussion?
None.
All right. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, moving on. Project updates for phase 1.
Go ahead, Tim.
Okay, so we've been moving along at the 3 schools, Osborne Hill. Right now, we're slated to start up the units on Monday with Train, all of our new RTUs and DOAS units. We're just finalizing getting all power connections between today and tomorrow. But as of this morning, that's still that plan is still on track. And essentially, we'll be rolling into the other 2 schools after that. So we start Train on Monday at 4, and they're pretty much going to be with us for the remainder of the month of August. So we, as we finish kicking off units at Osborne, we are going to then sequence right into Woods and then right into North Stratfield. So the dates we're kind of hitting are 8/4, 8/11, 8/18 will be all of our official Train startups. But again, like I said, it'll kind of roll in through as we get through the units and shift the personnel to the other schools.
Tim, all the permanent power.
Yes, all permanent power has been established. Yep, all permanent power has been fully established since about a week and a half ago. We had the last little bit at North Stratfield there that we took care of. And then right now we're currently focusing on buttoning up all of our classrooms and corridors. Osborne, we got final inspections for our phase 2 corridor. So that's padded out, or started being padded out yesterday. Same thing with classrooms. We have a few, last minute items, some, a duct drop that has to go in, which is basically leaving out a tile or 2 in the classroom while we get those, finally popped in. But other than that, classrooms there are pretty much 90% being buttoned up. And we're working on now starting to turn over rooms to the custodians for final clean. We also have our own final cleaners that are going to be stepping in a supplement as well. And we're working with the schools to see where we need manpower and getting all of that situated for them.
We resolved all that hubbub from yesterday as far as the email that was sent around.
Hubbub. I was out on
Angelus's email.
The email from
Angelus.
Yeah, I'll take that. So yes, apologies again for the trade. We were dealing with that aggressively. The gentleman that used the bins, if you will.
Oh yes, the bins. Yeah, I was aware of that. Sorry.
So yeah, so we're dealing with that swiftly. As it relates to cleaning, I sent a follow-up email as it relates to turnover. So we're happy to share those plans, obviously, with you. They've been in close coordination with Steve and Sal Orvito, as well as obviously Mark Schweitzer. So yes, to answer your question, it's been resolved. No issues there. I don't know if you want to mention the best thing.
Yeah.
Kevin,
Can we mute Kevin, please?
So sorry guys, just to address the bin thing. Yeah, I handled that on Wednesday when it came up. We spoke with the foreman. We made sure that that's unacceptable and that doesn't occur again. I had Chris, our superintendent at Osborne, give me measurements of the bins that were used for that particular incident. I'm going to be personally just re-procuring that teacher bins via Amazon or whatever, just to get bins for that classroom so that they're there when, for the start of school. So I'm working on that right now. And then to address vestibules. So again, we're working through vestibules. We're trying to focus our manpower to get out of the corridors and classrooms so the schools can start to do cleaning there. And as I said, we'll help them. And we're focusing all efforts to, push through the vestibules. So right now, all 3 vestibules have had their framing, rough framing installed. Openings that had needed to be cut have been cut. Openings that needed to be infilled have been infilled, or finishing up today with infills. Flooring is scheduled. We have flooring starting at North Stratfield today. And we have flooring starting at the Woods next week, and we're rolling into Osborne as well. So we're pushing hard. We're coming down to the last few weeks here. It looks better than it did last week. And, these next couple of weeks, I believe, we're going to have a lot more progress to be buttoned up for the start of school. So the thing we're still tracking is, a wild card item is the Armortex security frames for the interior. What we have done, though, is we've had Cherry Hill come out and give us, those hard lines on the ground so we can run our flooring to those lines, so that we can get all that installed prior to that Armortex system being delivered to site. So we're not holding up our flooring operations. Ceilings are also going to start to go in as well, since now we have our, our soffits and everything framed out. So again, we're pushing hard. I expect by this time, the end of next week, we'll have another, be another massive push, and things will look vastly different than it does as of today. We're pushing hard on all 3.
What do you anticipate substantial completion of the 3 projects
We're still tracking for 8/20.
for all 3?
Yep.
Okay, cool.
The only thing I want to make sure there's expectation are clearly communicated. The Armortech, we are going to hold off until the last minute. We might not install those frames. I don't want to create another mess of area that's finished. We might have to revert back to second shift or something along those lines. I don't want to disturb and dirty the vestibules. If they arrive and they come in late, we're going to hold off on installing them. They should not affect any security or any accessibility to the building. With all 3 vestibules, it's just a frame drop in. I don't want to make a mess, create more dirty areas. So we're debating that right now. We might just temporarily block off the areas. It's going to be safe. It's going to be secure. No issues there. Just want to make sure I have those frames and they're 100%, and then we'll come up with a plan how to implement those. So we'll continue to monitor it, keep you guys in the loop, but I just want to kind of throw that out there.
Yeah.
Just
Let's defer that conversation, because I want to bring in the cost aspects around it and the different variations, optionality there. So let's just sort of press some of this other stuff. That's a little deeper conversation.
Sure.
All right. Any other updates on the 3 schools or Fitz House?
Yeah,
I'm good with the 3 schools.
on my end, we've got the movers coming to move the book room back on the 13th. I've arranged with Gil Bain, so that we'll get that out of the media center on the 13th. That way, that'll be done. The Fitz House is basically holding right now to where it's at. And then with Tomlinson, the GMP goes in front of the Board of Selectmen on Wednesday. And we'll have the amendment for them to sign right after that to get the Gil Bain to get the subs under contract.
I saw Adam and Lee on this call.
Yep.
Are you guys all set with that? Do you need anything from the team committee or Board of Selectmen meeting?
I believe we're all set. I had a conversation with the town attorney, and we ended up clarifying that the initial authorization was only for phase 1. So we felt more comfortable if I would just present this as a contract amendment. So I got all the information over to Jen Carpenter to get on the agenda. So we should be good to go. And, assuming they approve it, we can get it signed the next morning.
Thank you.
Adam, are you looking for do you need any support or representation there? Would you like it? Do you need it?
If you're available, it might be nice just if they have any questions, but the scope of this is supposed to be limited to them just approving whether or not to sign it. There shouldn't be tremendous questions. But yeah, I usually just do it remotely. If you're available to call in remotely, that would be nice.
Did you see the agenda? Do you know where you are in the batting order?
No, it should probably come out later today, so I can let you know.
I can certainly try to make it. I just don't know that I have the 3 hours of buffer time.
Yeah, no, if not, I'll maybe Sal or someone from the school side could join me like they normally do for school contracts, but it shouldn't be a big deal.
Okay. Okay.
Either I or Angela's would be there.
I know Sal loves hanging out in the hallways. Okay. All right. Anything else on Tomlinson?
Just, well, we'll go over the pending contingency log, but we do have the Collier's ad service for the CA and the closeout for Tomlinson that we discussed last meeting as well.
Yeah, and that contract should be part of the package with the GMP for BOS
Okay.
signature, I would assume, right? It was part of that. That was integrated with the GMP.
Should be.
And there's a separate. You got a separate contract. We talked about the
I will
Gilbane
get
and
it.
Excel
I will
Bears.
get it to Adam for that. Yes. We can get, yeah, we can get that on tap. It hasn't been approved by the committee, so but
Okay. Last call on Tomlinson.
there.
All right. Contingency log.
We have a couple new ones, a couple additions. With
Zoom
the
in
worst
one more
one.
time, Mark.
We have a couple additions in white, and then the couple of updates in white and the gray. The true up of Bulletin 5 vestibule revisions. This came out after the Bulletin 5 was approved. We had put money on all three of them for the additional electrical in all three schools. The true up came back. Osborne Hill, obviously the worst one at 23.6. The other two are like under $3,000 and under $1,000. So in total, we're under the 30 grand that I had in there. But Osborne Hill took the biggest hit on the true up costs. So I zeroed out the Bulletin 5 additional electrical, and it's all in the true up costs. Updated the roof access for service. The initial platform and ladders came back that it was about $10,000 per unit. Osborne Hill, there's 2 units that are needed. Woods, there's only 1. North Stratfield, there's 4. So I adjusted those numbers. Item 79 will be going away. This is, it's going to be part of the Bulletin 5 true up, but I want to get that in there. And then the duct smoke credit we've estimated about $2,000. The electrical meter to switchgear mods, it was added. 81, 82, and 83 were added, and they are adds on Osborne Hill. Before I move on to the next school, are there any questions here?
78. You said on 7. Sorry.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do me a favor. Zoom in one more time, by the way. Much better. Thank you. 78. You said that was adjusted to 10,000. What was it originally?
I think I had them at 7,500 for all 3 schools, not knowing how many units there was. So,
Okay.
yeah, the initial pricing that came back was basically $10,000 a unit. And that'll vary with the size of the unit, but that seemed to be the average. That's why I've got it in. Hopefully it's a conservative number.
And 81 is a little bit of that one hurts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. It is reflected in these numbers, so we're not hurting for money on the contingency side, but yes, it is a,
Well, that's really not the point.
I,
You know, it's something that was missed. And we're paying a premium for it.
I assume we couldn't just get the door to open the other direction.
no, it's leading away from, it was leading away from the art room, so it was in the travel path. Sorry, it wasn't the art room. It was in the travel path from door 22.
Okay, so that one is an estimate right now. $81. It's new, but
It's new.
that's
Yes, it's estimated right now.
And is that's a new switchgear, or is that existing?
New meter, new switchgear, yes.
That was installed, and then we found out that it interfered with the travel path and it has to be relocated.
Had not been installed. It was
No,
it was coordinated prior to installation as they were laying out.
So why is there a $37,000 upcharge if it was already in the project and we're moving it from A to B?
Well, so the meter that was in the project was designed to be on the same wall as the switchgear, and it had to move about 25 feet away to be on another wall. So there was additional trenching that had to be done. We had to encase them in concrete per the building department because they were meter feed lines. So we had to run. So basically, you went from like a 1 foot conduit into the back of the switchgear to 25 feet of conduit. You had concrete. You had trenching. Yeah, underground. And then also we had to. No, you were not allowed to run it above ground. That was a building department requirement. And then we also had to core through the foundation and do sweeps up into that room as well, which is also incorporated in that cost. That's not just for the meter. It's the whole switch, because I remember the conduits were going to go outside the building right there, Rodney, on the side, and they were going to also be kind of a hazard if you came out of that classroom. There'd be a bunch of 4-inch, 6-inch conduits against the wall. So it's a cleaner final product, but yes, this cost was not designed that way. And this cost is a factor of that. And the metal cabinet that we had to put in the switch room, which was again, another building official requirement to run those high powered feeders into that room.
And the initial trench to the side of the room basically got bent to the front face. So there's no savings or credit for the initial trenching.
Right. The trenching was the trenching for the secondaries was all base contract.
okay.
Once you said trenching, a lot of that cost made sense.
Just a little FYI here, some of these building department requirements are not in the code. They're not things they really have jurisdiction over, but they're demanding them. And so in the interest of keeping the project going, it had to be complied with. We've never heard of any project ever requiring concrete encasement for a meter, for conduits to a meter. That's just never done anywhere.
Is the inspector next UI guy?
Well, so It was seismic. It was seismic clips they needed to not have the conduit shift, but they were not readily available. So the option was concrete encasement, and both of them were going to be extra costs and extra installs. So, it was a either or situation, but we didn't have time for waiting a few weeks for these special seismic clips to come in, so we had to concrete. That was the only other viable option by the building department.
Okay.
Again, our electrical department feels the building department was confused about what exactly these were for.
Okay. Pressing on Mark.
Yep, North Stratfield. Again, white is new or updated. Item 101, this was previously approved under ATP 35 under the HVAC project. The true up is a true negative of it because it got moved to the roof project. But there is as you saw on the ATP packet, the upcharge on the ATP. But this reflects that this is reconciling the HVAC project. The Bolton 5 true up. This is an additional cost of about $4,000, zeroing out the additional electrical that got moved up into this line item. Updated the roof access. There are 4 platforms / ladders or steps that are needed up on the roof. And then true up of the ACM on the roof leader, and then fire pump install panel, the new closet, and then the duct mounted smoke detectors is a credit. This new closet, it was initially scheduled to be put in the art storage room. It got relocated to save the storage room. So it got relocated to a corridor, and this is to put basically a closet in the corridor.
Fire pump installation, where did that wasn't part of the original specs?
No, it was not. It was an existing pump that failed, and this is, I believe the fire pump was purchased by the Board of Ed, and it was on site, and this could very well go away to a Board of Ed cost. I'm just carrying it here as an insurance policy, just to encumber the money if it does fall into the project.
Sounds like a different event.
Yes. But with the plumber on site, if it's installed, it may need to be run through the project just so we can get the money to the sub. If they do the install.
Got it.
Doesn't all fire related installs have to be done by an approved fire protection company?
I believe it would. We do have Blackwater on site. And this is my estimate. It is a swag at best.
Okay.
And then Woods.
Mark, did the whole pump fail? What's the deal there? I hadn't heard about it.
This was an existing pump that failed, yes.
Yeah, the one over in the fire pump room, obviously, right?
Correct. Yeah. Again, this is a, Woods 9 looks bad, but it's truly not. Back in February, ATP 36 was approved, and at the time we approved ATP 36, there was discussion about that the cost was going to run over the allowance, and at the ATP 36 was approved at 42,000. And at the meeting, it was discussed that we would keep it as an allowance, but we would overrun the allowance. So this is basically the true up is just that. This is the true up of basically ATP 36.
So we went over the allowance by $27,340.
Correct.
Jesus.
Yeah. And the total we had approved when we had the allowance of 75,000 plus the 42 was like 117. This came in just under that. So we were just under the initial approval that we had. We just cleaned it up. It's a little bit more cleaner to keep it in the allowance like this.
Okay.
And then bulletin 5, the true up, the zeroing out of the additional electrical, the one roof access panel or stair and platform, I should say. And then we have a couple true ups and then a credit for the duct smokes.
The item 120, and I saw it for the other school as well. Has the electrical already been run in the vestibules?
No, it has not. So it'll be part of the bulletin 5 vestibule true up. It's
They
a
can't
single
put it
out.
on a charger every night.
It's a charger. Yeah, well, with the transaction windows going in, it's a simple conduit with an duplex outlet box.
Gotcha.
This is basically an outlet that wasn't identified originally. They're just an
Correct.
incremental outlet.
Their security protocol went from, when you enter now, you hand over your license through the transaction window. They run it through the Raptor. It's going to be basically a self-service security check-in, where you hold up your license to the iPad. It takes a picture and it runs you through the database.
I think, Joe, to your point, we could drill a 9/16 hole through the wall and snake a long charging cable through. Okay.
I'm assuming that's at all 4 schools. Or
All 3 schools.
3? Yeah.
All 3 with the security vestibules, yes. And there's plenty of electrical on the other side of that wall where they can punch through.
Whose estimate is this? $2,500.
Mine. It should be well below that, and unit price for a duplex outlet should be 500, 750.
Yeah, I would say for 2,500, I was going to ask if we were going to get it. That included the iPad.
It'd be a lot more than $2,500.
All right. Moving on. Is your deferrables in white because of a comment, or is that 264, or is that just you forgot the color in it?
Yeah, I'm not sure why that is white.
All right. All right, so we're moving on. I didn't have the agenda.
Yep.
Moving on to ATPs, I believe.
Yes. And truly, the ATP 001 for Fairfield Woods is an FYI. I didn't realize till this morning. I highlighted in blue as the FYIs. This also should be blue as well. That we went over.
It's funny
So
looking.
only one estimated. A lot of them are true ups. Actually, the majority of them are true ups.
So you're saying that the 001 has already been approved. You're just showing the numbers from a true perspective.
Well,
Approved is-
as we talked about, we
Right.
previously approved ATP 36 for $42,000. At the time, we were told to overrun the allowance, but it was approved. So ATP 36 you'll not see a true up on that, and that will go away.
Okay. So the first one is then ATP 49. So I'll make a motion to approve ATP 049 Bulletin 5C vestibule and front office res for revisions coming out of contingency. Now, this was approved as an estimate at some 30,000 and change, yeah?
Correct.
Yeah, so a revised amount of $31,574, which was an additional $948 over the approved estimate.
Correct. It'll void the estimated one with this dollar amount.
All right.
So what we're approving is the additional 948.
948.
Right. So that's what we should make a
Right.
motion toward. Not the 31,000.
The 31,574, because
Yeah.
that's been approved. Yeah, so 30,000's been approved as an estimated. So sure. So modification of the amendment or the motion would be to approve 049 Built-in 5C vestibule and front office revisions. The additional amount of $948.
Second.
Any further discussion? Okay. Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, so 50 and 51 are savings from the estimates, so that's
Yes.
informational. 41,
41, yeah. This is a true up.
okay. So make a motion to approve ATP 041 Bulletin 5A vestibule revisions coming out of contingency, the additional amount of $3,967.
Second the motion.
Any discussion? Right, hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Therefore, two again is a savings, which FYI only came in under the estimate. Moving on to North Stratfield roof.
This is the one. This is ATP 35 for North Stratfield HVAC project. This ATP 35 will be zeroed out. So by approving the North Stratfield ATP 003, you will be voiding ATP 35 for the HVAC project. As Tim or Kevin, do you want to explain why the difference in the additional funds is needed above the estimate?
Well, the difference in funds is just as simply the scope almost doubled. So when we gave the first estimate back in, a couple months ago, it was around 70,000. That was based on 3 units that were identified that had to be raised. After additional field coordination and field, being out there taking up the roof, we realized that there was more units that had the same existing condition. So another 2 units were added to that, and one of the units required new ductwork. Ferguson brought it to SBA's attention that the ductwork that was existing on MAU was not going to be able to be reused if the unit had to be lifted to meet the requirements of the new roof system. So we had to add in the coordination and the fabrication and design, all that of the additional new ducts. So the scope increased almost 100%. And I mean, that's really the main reason as to why. We had to, when we initially did the ATP, there was potential trying to use the same crane for some of the new units, but we were not able to do that as we got into the scope more, into the timing of it and adding in the additional units. We had to add in its own crane for that use as well. So that's where the cost came. If you want to talk about how this is a cost or whatever, I'll leave that to SBA and BL to kind of talk through that.
This is $150,000. Oops. And okay, explain how this happened. Somebody.
Kevin, do you want to take that?
When I went over this with SP&A, here the design architects, when this ATP came in, and I guess when it was originally designed, obviously raising the insulation height on the roof, was the Connecticut code. So when they did that, and also while they're doing the HVAC, that's when they found that they needed to, raise these units, add new ductwork to some of the units, disconnecting the ductwork, putting fire wrap, insulation, for all the electrical that had to be done. We went through it, and with the amount of work that needs to be done to coincide with raising the height of the roof, the cost, the cost was good. Went over this with Fairfield as well, and it all kind of jived together. Yes, it is a lot of money, but it was, I guess, just with that raising the height of the roof, it caused the issue with the separate project for the HVAC, because everything had to go up with the roof. So that's the explanation that I have for it after I went over the design architect. So I think it was the height and having to change everything to match that height. So,
well, why didn't the design Kevin, are you part of the design team, or what's your role?
I'm not part of the design team. No, I do the CA. I'm the construction administrator, not the design team. So I went over it with the design architects, and they explained that what I told you was the reason why, roof height, and of course having all the HVAC units, all the units, not HVAC, all the units being raised to match that height. But that's what they explained when I told you.
Yeah. Well, my problem is, why wasn't this picked up during the design process? And I know nobody here probably can answer that. I'm sorry, Joe.
No, it's okay. I'm just wondering if that was possibly in the feasibility study, or that goes back that far, that it was missed back then, which could have been a different engineer. Probably was a different engineer.
Well, regardless, the design engineer should have been on site. They should know the code that, they have to have a certain amount of insulation to meet all the environmental codes. And now we're stuck with $150,000 extra.
Agreed.
Did I hear correctly that we only had to reduct one of the units? Did someone say
No,
that?
they all needed additional duct, like drops and stuff, Jeff. But one of them, the one over the admin office, has like actual trunk lines, like roof duct trunk lines. And remember the one we looked at that time we were up there?
Yeah,
was like
the
that
one
black
said black. That's what I remember.
Yeah,
Right.
that's what also added to the cost. When I explained that to you, like Ferguson, said, listen, the second we go to move this, it's frail, it's going to rip, it's going to tear, something's going to happen. So it's the best practice to replace that. So that was another RFI in this whole plethora of field condition that caused, some costs to go up. So we got the RFI from SPA to go ahead and in fact replace that with brand new, new metal duct and drops and stuff. So that obviously also increased the cost from just initially we thought we could just lift it all as one unit, but as they inspected it's two, it was gonna cause more issue. So
Was this the only property where this was missed?
yeah, this is the only issue on this property. And again, because of the full roof replacement versus the other schools where we're not touching existing roofs and units.
And Jesse, you were part of the design to, the ductwork and all that good
No,
stuff.
absolutely
You were
not. No, existing mechanical equipment is outside our scope totally for the HVAC project. This
All right.
was no one really explained this well. Totally separate project from the HVAC upgrade project. This was roof replacement project, and you probably know the history, but the architect at Silver Petroselli who designed this passed away suddenly.
Yes.
So we can't ask him, obviously, or you guys can't ask him. It's not me.
No, I know that. And the only reason I asked, Jesse, is because who designed the new ductwork, or is it just a replacing kind?
No, it's not new ductwork. It's essentially when you raise the units 5 inches, you have to replace that piece.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
there was some ductwork, like horizontal ductwork. This is my understanding. Some horizontal ductwork that was just too close to the roof surface to be able to be kept. And I know Ferguson Mechanical, again, just because we're working with them on the HVAC, they thought it was going to destroy the ductwork to try to move it up that extra 5 inches or whatever. So they had recommended replacing it just so that it wouldn't be destroyed. They didn't think it could be moved. And sorry, Kevin can probably confirm some of this. He probably knows some of it too, but that's my recollection of it.
Okay.
Yeah, when we received all the information from Gilbane regarding what was recommended, the design architect that took over for Kenny, he concurred with that because he said it wouldn't be feasible to use the existing ductwork just for, like what Jesse was saying and Tim was saying, that they had to put new ductwork in for those to connect those units.
How is this going to translate into Tomlinson's new roof? Are we keeping any of the units in Tomlinson, or are they all new?
Tomlinson has some, I think there's one exhaust fan that remains that's there now.
I believe there's a couple units up there that.
Yeah, actually, you're right, Mark. There's a couple. There's a chiller up there. There's another rooftop that's not part of the HVAC upgrades there.
It's Sal. Yeah, there are some units that are remaining for this season into next season that will be demolished next summer and then roofed over. There are units that remain permanently even after the new equipment that BL design is put in, but they're all above. That's all being taken care of in the roof project this summer.
Okay.
So that's coordinated out. That's the
for Tomlinson, that's
$120,000. That's the $120,000 line item that you have for the Tomlinson roof project.
Okay, so we won't be seeing ATPs coming in to raise the existing units. And
No, I don't know how. No.
Never say never.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but everything that will permanently remain is being taken care of right now in the Tomlinson roofing project. The items that need to be filled in because they're being demolished in summer 2026, that's in that $120,000. The roofing for the new curbs for the new equipment is in the $120,000. The sacrificial cap sheet is in the $120,000. and the base project owns the final capping. That will be done in 2026. So it's pretty well defined what we have there. There wasn't a scurry. We had a lot of time to coordinate this, so it should be in good shape.
All right. So I'll make a motion to approve ATP 003 for North Stratfield roof, an incremental amount of $75,877 coming out of contingency.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion?
Mark, what's our contingency on North Stratfield roof? We have enough, right?
Yes. And I will send the committee the numbers after.
Please. Yeah, thank you.
Any other discussion? Okay, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, moving on to Osborne Hill.
Yeah, 022 is the Bolton 5 vestibule in front office revisions. This is a upcharge of $23,638.
What revisions were made for $23,638?
Mostly with the electrical. There was existing electrical on the transaction window side that was not fully scoped in the bulletin or fully contemplated in the estimated ATP. And this is not knowing what had to be rewired to stay or rewired at a relocated spot. That's basically the bulk of the change.
You know, but there were also counters that were replaced, right? And painting and cosmetic stuff.
But that was in the original Bolton 5.
So the incrementals on primarily on the electrical side.
Correct.
So the electrical doubled the cost, essentially.
I will defer to Tim on that, but yes, that is my understanding of it.
Sorry, guys, repeat that. I had a contractor walk in the office.
The ATP 5 went from roughly 25,000 to 53,000 or what roughly numbers.
Yeah, I mean, so the problem we had there is there was a lot of extra scope added in when we went back through with them. Electrical was the bigger portion of it. Again, when we got these initial ROMs out, we really tried to do our best to just get a gauge on it. We didn't really have the drawings yet. We didn't give Ferguson days or a week or so to go through it. We wanted to just bring it to your attention that this was going to be a larger exposure. If we carried on with Bolton 5, we didn't know exactly what, but we knew it wasn't going to be 5 or 10 grand. We knew it was going to be 30, 35. So we went in with around 30, 35, whatever it was, talking to Ferguson. They had just briefly went through it. But as of going through it more with them and acoustics, there was also acoustics as well that had costs in there. It came out to be the higher value. So, I mean, there was definitely a lot of electrical added in and a lot more with, framing, drywall, et cetera, that was then was initially in the vestibule drawing, flooring, ceilings. Because we needed to, remember back when we gave you the first ATP, we really needed to get this kind of approved to really start to get flooring released and other things procured, because we didn't want to wait and give you guys a number and then have it be approved or unapproved, and then we not have the time to get the work done this summer and get the, all the materials that we needed in those vestibules. So like I said, it was more of an initial ROM without really being deep dived into the actual Bulletin 5 due to the timing of the arrival of the revised Bulletin 5. So that also has an indicator as to why there's a larger push.
When was Bulletin 5B issued?
There was an initial Bulletin 5 that came out, I think it was February or March. I got to double check the date, but then it was incomplete. So we had other questions. There was a lot of other coordination aspects. It came and it was, the latest version came out mid-May. It was like May 15th or 16th. So again, kind of pushing on school getting out, we had to get something. We had to get a cost in front of you guys to give you an exposure and try to, have you at least understand where we were at. The electrical scope was definitely a big indicator, and acoustics increased, around 12,000 because we added in additional flooring. We added in, some of the office corridor adds like ceiling and flooring. The mail sorter countertops became laminated or relaminated and some new. So it was, again, I think the bulletin came out. There was additional things that wanted to be added in kind of between BL and FPS. And so that grew the scope and the cost. And when we got that bulletin mid-May, I needed to get something in front of you guys to be like, hey, this is not a $5,000 ad. This is a more, a major ad. So we did our best to get some sort of ROM together with the trades, but they really hadn't spent time with it get into every detail. So a lot of that cost is just getting into all the details.
So making a motion to approve 022 ATP 022 for Osborne Hill Bulletin 5B vestibule and front office revisions, the incremental amount of $23,638 from contingency.
I'll second it.
Further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, 024 is an FYI with a
Yep.
savings of $2,300.
25 is the electrical meter and switchgear modifications. As
The door
discussed during
22.
Yes.
That's the trenching and cement work.
Correct.
So make a motion to approve ATP 025 for Osborne Hill, RFI 167 electrical meter to switch gear modifications. It's an estimated ATP coming out of contingency in the amount of $37,462. Second.
Second it.
And just any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, on to glass. So the issue with the glass, I'm gonna take this one and echo my understanding, and if I'm wrong or people want to add to it, please do. The delivery of the final glass installation is not expected until the 20. It's not supposed to be shipped until the 22nd. Remember, first day of school is the 26th, which means the arrival of the final glass would be the first week of school. So the question becomes, what do we want to do with the openings that will eventually have this final glass? This is for the outer walls of the vestibules. The inner walls would be set, so there's not a question of security. We would be at the same level of security that we have today. This is to put the final glass in, and do we want to put temporary glass in place? Amar,
as opposed to plywood,
plywood, air, or
cardboard,
plastic.
I think, if you don't mind,
Yeah.
this is approve it as a there's a potential expenditure. If we're gonna hold on the frame, we might as well install the frame and the permanent glass then.
Well, that's what I was gonna ask you, Mark. So that was a new
Yeah, I
wrinkle
think
that I hadn't
approve
heard
it
before. So
now,
you're,
just to have it as a kind of contingency. In the event we do install the frame, we have time to install the frame and the permanent glass is not on site. But if we hold off on the frames, and by the way, these are the interior frames, not the exterior frames, just
Okay.
FYI.
the other way
So-
around. Okay.
Yeah, that's fine. So yes, if you don't mind, you can approve it and just have it as a hold in the event we need to use it. I'm trying to avoid this expenditure, to be honest with you. So that's kind of the premise on it.
So the original plan was to have the framing installed the week of the 11th. Is that, so you're proposing to defer that a bit, Amar?
So
Shipping, go ahead, Tim.
yeah, so the frames are shipping on 8/8 right now, and I got that update earlier this week again from Cherry Hill. So they're coming from Texas, so we don't know the transit time. We're going to just say a week. So we expect them to get, if they do in fact ship on the 8th, then we expect them to come to site by the 14th or the 15th of August, which gives us really we can work those, whatever day they land, we can get Cherry Hill here. We can work Saturday as well. But, worst case scenario is if they arrive on the 15th, then maybe we're installing on the 16th and then again on the 18th through that week, which puts us right up against the wall of the start of school. So I've spoke to Cherry Hill, and although it's only a 2 to 3 day install for just frames, we just that's all that if they get shipped on the right date and they get delivered on the right time, it's just unfortunately still a moving target. So I do agree with Mar.
3 schools, guys. You're talking 3 schools simultaneously. So that's the
Right.
risk.
Yes. We'll be installing, and I already confirmed with Cherry Hill they have crews for 3 schools ready to go. It's not going to be a 1-to-1-to-1. It's going to be all 3 as soon as they land.
So, all right, I understand that. I'm confused on what the modified proposal is. So hearing all that, if the frames are installed on the 15th through 18th that weekend, it's the week before school starts. What is the proposal to install the frames during that period and then just let them sit? And then do what with glass? Or are you, Amar, were you proposing to hold the frames?
If the frames arrive and we have the manpower, Cherry Hill, that is to be able to do all 3 schools simultaneously, install the frames, we have the doors, we'll probably deploy the temporary glass. That would be the best case scenario if they arrive in time. And I don't want to create the mess, as I indicated earlier, of a clean space already. So if the frames arrive and we have the time, yes, we'll absolutely install it. That's will be the best case scenario. Install the temporary glass and the doors and get everything buttoned up ready. We're just looking at it from in the event they don't show up until later. It's kind of worst case scenario. I'm trying to paint the picture here. Worst case scenario, they don't show up and we don't have the time. What's the space going to look like? And that's really what kind of the 2 options, if you will.
So, and I just want to be very transparent to everybody on this call. So Cherry Hill needs about a week and a half to get the tempered glass. So what I need to really make a decision very soon, because if I don't release Cherry Hill on the glass probably by the 8th, then there's a chance that the temp glass doesn't come in time.
Well, that was where I was going to go next, Tim. I understood 2 weeks. So I was going to say, if we don't authorize that today, then we don't have the temporary glass in place.
Yeah, it's a two-part problem. It's not a problem. It's a 2-part situation. So we need to get you guys to just give us the green flag on the cost, and then I need to kind of, work with Cherry Hill to see when I need to release them by, if we're going to go the route of temp glass.
Well, let me ask a question. If the frames do not arrive in time, is the proposals to defer the frame installation until after
Yes.
the first day of
we would
school?
defer after the first day of school. We'd come in second shift or Saturdays, and we'd put the frames in, and then we'd follow with the actual Armortex glazing. Okay,
and following that thought process for a minute, what would we do with those openings in the interim? Would we plywood them? Would we plastic them, cardboard them?
The only issue is so we'd have a door that wouldn't be there, and we'd have at Osborne, it's a little trickier because the Armortex makes up part of their wall for the office.
So it would have to be ply, it would have to be something with more permanence, but then they can't see through it.
Well, I mean, it does and it doesn't, because again, like Sal said, you'd go back to regular protocol. So they'd have to vet everybody at the front door like they've been doing, where you wouldn't allow them in until they're cleared. So they'd walk in, there'd be a wide open office kind of the area there instead of a glazing with a door. So it wouldn't really be a problem. It would be a little weird because you'd have like this just big open space to the office. But from a security standpoint, Sal would follow his normal protocol that he used this past school year. So people would do the checking in at the comm and get in through the buzz in through the door.
So the way, I guess my recap on this is, do we want to spend $8,500 to order glass that may or may not even be used because there's potentiality that the frames arrive late and we don't even have the time to install it? Or do we just make the call now and say we're going to have to go with the the ugliness of some temporary install that's not glass based?
No,
I mean, here's my best thing, Jeff, is if 8/8 the frames are supposed to ship, they're gonna get on site by the 15th or earlier, right? I'm going with a 7-day time to get from Texas. I don't think it's gonna take 7 days. However, I think if they do in fact ship on the 8th, if I tell Cherry Hill to get their glass procured right around that date, like maybe by the middle of next week, it will be on site for when we have the frames going up. So you get what I'm saying? Because if the frames do in fact arrive to us by the 15th, they will get them up the week of the 18th and we could put glazing in. So temp glazing, that is. So I think maybe for the point of this call, we get this tentatively, we get this approved, and you just let me kind of work with Cherry Hill over the next 3 to 4 days and try to figure out if we actually have to pull the trigger on the glazing. And obviously I can keep you guys in the loop as well. So you understand where our thought process is and timing. But I mean, it's hard because we don't know they're on a truck yet. Right. So we're marching to this date that yes, has been confirmed time and time again, but we don't have that tracking number yet. So that's my only concern.
Can I offer a different scenario?
Sure.
The chairman has authorization. I think it's $15,000.
It's more than 8,500. I don't remember the exact amount.
Yeah.
Okay. So if everything works out and the frames are going to arrive when they say they're going to arrive, then you can tell Jeff he can authorize the $8,400 and call it a day.
Okay.
And if they don't show up and there's some other thing, then you don't need to authorize the $8,400. I mean, it's another option.
I'll take it out of.
No, that's fine, Rodney, and I agree.
Rodney, I'll even take it out of my contingency. It's a small amount of money. So yes, I agree.
No. I mean, I'm not trying to be different. I'm just trying to offer a different scenario so we can move forward.
Yeah, I wanted to have a discussion with Rodney for you and Joe, just so you understand. Do we want to? We're talking about, so even if everything clicks, we're talking about spending that whatever $8,500 to $10,000 for the glass, which will be removed a week later. So that $8,500 is literally for a week or two of.
I know.
I just want to make sure everyone was aware of and comfortable with that spend, because it is truly a throwaway.
If logistically Osborne Hill is the worst case, could we split Osborne Hill out, install a frame at Osborne Hill, and get the temp glass in? The other two, and first I'm hearing it today, so got to think through North Stratfield and Woods. But with Osborne Hill, we could release Osborne Hill's temporary glass. As the frame arrives, we can install the temp glass and have that office operating almost normal.
Well, Tim, answer a question. Is the permanent glazing ready to be installed, or do you need the measurements before you order it?
No, it's all part of the system. So since the frames are designed already, the glazing should already be designed to that system. It's just the procurement from the actual glazer is just not, it's not through ArmorTex.
So the permanent glazing is not through Armortex.
It is. It's all under Armitex's control.
Okay.
But there's a
So the question I have is, if we're going to put the frames in, why can't we just put the permanent glazing in at the same time?
The permanent glazing's not expected
different
to
trucks.
arrive until the week of the 25th.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like the glazing is
Oh, okay,
coming,
all right.
it's coming
Never
along.
mind.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. All right. All right.
I'm sure you guys tried this already, but they can't expedite it for a cost.
We've
I've asked.
done everything.
Yeah.
This specialty glazing has a significant lead time because of the characteristics of it. It's not the frame only. The glass gets procured from a different vendor under Armitech, but there's a lead time for
Right.
specialty glazing. That's why.
That's what I meant when I said that. Like ArmorTex makes the frames in house. The glazing is coming, yes, via ArmorTex, but through a separate vendor, so they don't have control over that. That's why the whole system was slated for 822, but they were able to jump us in the production line and pull us back to 88 for those frames, which is why we're juggling 2 dates.
Gotcha.
Our initial priority is to get everything installed, hopefully including the glass, but we're looking at potential options here. That's all it is. We want to make sure you guys are looped in. There will be a meeting on the 15th in 2 weeks. We'll discuss that. We'll let you know. At that point in time, we'll know the frame is on site, it's not on site, and we'll discuss this a little bit further so everybody's informed. So again, we can, like I said, great idea by Rodney is table this $8,400, and we'll be reaching out to you, Jeff, as we get closer. Once the frame arrives, and we need to pull the trigger on this, because really, 1/4 inch glass, I can get it in less than a week. They can get it in less than a week, so we should be all right. So yeah, by all means, table this one if you guys want to.
I mean, I offered that option. Jeff is comfortable with it.
I am, and I don't know that. I was more, my biggest concern was, I think the time is going to come that we're going to have that temporary glass in for, for a week, 3 days, 2 days, whatever days. So I wanted to see where you and Joe felt even conceptually. Like, is that a spend that's even worth the debate, or do we just have to deal with it and go to the old protocols and stick up plywood for a few days? And I get there's going to be an unhappy principal here and there, but is that the right answer for the $10,000?
Yeah, I understand, and I'm not opposed to putting the plywood up temporarily, but I don't know if that's going to suffice.
And I don't know how strongly Sal wants to weigh in, or anybody else from the BOS, but that's or BOE rather. But that was really that's why I ripped where I was falling. I was just reluctant to sort of really push that unilaterally in any way with it's really a true throwaway, and for a very short period of time.
I mean, if you want to look at it one way, it's only a couple $1,000s each school.
Watch
it's not really 8,500.
It's
It's 2,800. It's
Yeah, compared to everything else we did today.
I mean, yeah.
True.
Come on.
To drop in the bucket.
Yeah, it's just a drop, guys.
It's a rounding error.
So
God Almighty.
I'm fine with doing it real time if you guys are. That's fine with me. So Tim, I guess
I'm okay with that, Jeff. I'll just
see what
on it.
Yeah, we'll connect next week a couple times,
Yep.
and you can just let me know how it seems for frame. If you've got the tracking number and whatever they're saying, it's going to come in a lot sooner, then we can pull the trigger on the glass and get that ordered up or not. And then you can also maybe take a look at the schools a little more detailed and figure out, if we don't have glass, what would we do? And is that feasible, and how ugly, how impactful is that going to be?
Okay.
Joe, what's your feeling?
I brought up plywood as a joke, but
Well, you brought up cardboard as I took cardboard as a joke. I took plywood as a viable
Remember,
solution.
plywood, just remember, plywood is not free either, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I was
It
going to
still
say
has
that.
labor
Isn't that like
and-
$50 for
We're
the
gonna pay for
plywood?
plywood? What are you talking about?
And well, the cost is in the labor.
Yeah,
Right.
it is. The glass is really actually cheap
it
when you
is.
look at the proposal. It's the time to put it in. Guys, I'll be honest. My honest thing is, first day of school, people coming in. If we don't know, I'd almost say what Amar said. We defer putting in the frames as well and just wait for the glazing. I think you walk into a big storefront with plywood in it, it's just gonna have a certain, I don't know. It's not gonna
Yeah.
look right. I think
Yeah.
a big open cavity where the storefront should be will be better and cleaner than a wall of plywood.
Yeah.
So I
Don't
think if
disagree.
it comes to it, like Amar said, we just defer the frames. We make sure everything's safe. There's no hazards, right? Like we put in filler, whatever we have to do where the joints would be, and we call it a day until we do it at night or however, second shift. That would be my recommendation if we don't want to do the glazing and the frames do in fact.
So maybe instead of yellow safety tape, we put something cable with balloons on it or something to keep people from climbing on it.
Yeah.
So what we got?
Oh, I can buy a whole lot of party stuff from Amazon. We'll just decorate the whole opening.
Throw it in your plastic bin order.
Streamers. We'll do streamers
Yeah.
where the headers should go.
Right.
Yeah, I don't
exactly.
want to see an ATP for that.
And speaking of second shift, is that second shift cost included in this 8,400?
That would be no, that's just for the glazing. So if there was a second shift install, I don't know if Cherry Hill would have any upcharge to do that, Mark. We'd have to talk to them.
We'd have to talk to them. It wouldn't be.
I don't know if there would be an increase or not.
So
On
that's
second
actually-
shift or
so
weekends.
that's actually an estimate on the 8,500, and that's why I keep rounding up to 10,000 because I anticipate.
Well, maybe after today you want to round it up to 16,000.
Oh, wow.
All right, so Tim, we'll connect next week.
Let me move my dartboard from behind me. I didn't want you to see where I do my estimates from.
There's a simple way to get rid of that.
By the way, he hasn't hit the
albatross on your
dartboard
neck,
yet.
Tim.
He has not hit the dartboard yet.
Yeah, I missed the glass is all smashed behind me. I just can't get there.
All right. So, Joe, any other thing you're good with that approach?
Yeah, I'm good.
Makes sense. All right. Okay. Mark,
All right.
jumping back because we still have
On
invoices.
the ATP and the proposals, that is it. We do have Kyer's proposal for the Tomlinson construction and closeout for phase 2. We do have a budget line item in the budget for Tomlinson, that well exceeds the amount that we're estimating. This is an hourly, we'll be billing hourly and basically hourly not to exceed 184,855. And this, as Jeff and I discussed, we can fund this either, there's a couple different ways that we could fund this.
That should
either
be
through-
approved. That should be approved through the Board of Selectmen from the GMP or contract
Right.
extensions, is my understanding. Right?
Correct.
So, Adam,
Correct.
you would just be another contract modification to include Tomlinson for the Collier portion of the project.
Has this money, have these funds been accounted for
Yes.
in the GMP?
Not in the GMP.
They're not in the GMP. This is incremental. to
They're in the
GMP.
budget. They're not in the GMP is hard costs and basically a Mars costs. These are, but OPM services is a line item in the budget.
Has a budget been approved by BOS?
The dollar amount has, yes. The 5,615,000.
That's been approved.
Yes,
Good.
the funding is in place.
The question came up, Rodney, is what does the Board of Selectmen have to reapprove from a expansion perspective of phase 2? So there was some discussion around GMP having to be approved versus the incremental contract. So that's the Adam. So Adam worked with the town lawyer and he's putting together whatever package he and Phil believe is necessary.
I want to make sure I understand. If I can interrupt quick, I just want to make sure I understand this piece. So this is for this is for Colliers.
Yes, yes.
So is this a new agreement, or is this just almost like
This
a change order?
This is an amendment to our original contract for phase 2.
And it has like a new signature line, or what?
It doesn't.
No, it does not. Doesn't need to. I can have it modified.
Well, so I was trying to explain this earlier. What the Board of Selectmen needs to approve is if something needs to be authorized for signature by the first selectman. So if we don't have like a contract here that needs to be re-signed by the first selectman, I don't need to present it. If it's just some added cost that will get put on to the existing agreement and existing PO, I don't think I need to bring it.
Okay. Yeah, I defer to you on that, Adam.
I mean, I don't the schedule on this. I don't begin on quote unquote Tomlinson until September anyways. So we have the month of August. If it's approved by the building committee, I mean, we've got time to, if it needs to be go in front of the Board of Selectmen, it can, obviously it'll be put in front of the Board of Selectmen. But as of right now, if we get this approved by the building committee, we'll continue, we're going to continue to work anyways.
Yeah, so I'm not sure what you're comfortable with, Jeff, but I would say if, this committee could act on, approving moving forward with this or something, and then if we decide that we need an updated contract or something, then that's what I could bring to the Board of Selectmen for authorization of.
Okay. Well, I guess there's no, but then we'd be presenting a motion, Rodney and Joe, to approve the spend of $184,855 to support the Tomlinson or phase 2 Tomlinson project for Colliers. That's based on an hourly bill rate. So it's really a not to exceed number.
It's a not to exceed price, and this is an amendment to their original contract.
Contract, and this money has been budgeted. It is budgeted, but not part of the GMP for the Tomlinson project.
Correct. Right. The GMP is part of the budget.
Correct.
So
the budget's the superset, the GMP plus the soft costs around it.
Right.
Yeah. All right. So why don't we do that then? So I'll make a motion to approve a not to exceed amount of $184,855 for Colliers to address the Tomlinson phase 2 Tomlinson HVAC project.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion?
yeah, I would just we estimate our fees to total in this third paragraph. I would like to see not to exceed.
Explicitly versus implicitly based on an hourly rate.
Exactly. And we can go ahead and approve the amount.
Mark, do you feel there'd be any concern getting that?
No, that's basically what
language
we're
change?
working under now.
Okay.
Wait, other discussion? Okay. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Any invoices?
2 of them.
Thank goodness. Okay. Train is
Yeah,
leaving.
Mark's all happy now.
Yeah, we're not, well,
He gets paid for another year.
yeah, I'm happy about that, but I'm happy we turned the, we're in the final stretch.
Chuck will get off your back.
We've got two of them, Silver Petrocelli dated September 24, and then Van Zelen for their services this past June, July. Silver Petrocelli's takes a little bit of explanation. They originally submitted it in September and followed up in October and November, which would have had no balance on their contract. We held them because we had the work coming up this summer. So that's why it has the September date. So we will have basically $600 remaining on their contract for next month or for this month and September.
All right. I'll make a motion to accept Silver Petrocelli's invoice number 24-1057 with a date of 9/1/2024 in the amount of $2,400.
I'll second that motion.
Any discussion? Very good. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I will make a motion to accept Van Zelm's invoice 53696 dated 7/14/2025 in the amount of $7,246.74.
Second the motion. Any discussion? Good. Hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, moving on to old business. Sal, any updates on Save More with Fitz? Are you status quo at the moment? Caught him off guard.
I haven't heard anything else from the town attorney on that.
Okay. Tim, the roof delays with Young, are you at a comfortable place with them now? Are we still at risk?
We are. No, we are. They pretty much, with the exception of the APR roof, they still have to rip and replace that, which they're planning on doing Monday. It's about a 3 to 4 day operation. That is that and the roof over our office, our field office, which is a 1 day operation, 2 days max. Mm-hmm. Well, that's kind of where we're left with them. We do have a lot of work we're still doing, but it's like more final work now. So we have cap sheeting going in. We have metal trim going in, but the bulk of like the rip and replace has been done. So I at this moment, we've had a couple weather days yesterday and today. So
yeah, the weather looks fantastic. The weather looks fantastic.
Yes.
For roofing for the next 7 days. So
yeah, yes, next week looks really good. I'm hoping we get a big push. So yes, we are in better shape than we were about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago.
Okay, thank you. Temp class, we talked about permanent power status. We've mentioned roof leaks. We're all good with that. The roof leaks have been remediated. Subs have been.
I mean, the ones that were existing, yes, they've been remediated. We had a few issues at Osborne. They were from separate incidents. We did have one this morning that we addressed immediately with our team in the field. It was in an area where we hadn't performed any work recently, so we're addressing that as well with the roofer. But yes, I mean nothing other than that.
Okay, it's a little disconcerting though that we have all these roof leaks. Are we? You're saying that with an area we haven't even touched in a while. So are we going to have leaks through August and September, or how do we?
No, well, no. I mean, no, we shouldn't be having leaks. Two of the ones that happened at Osborne were due to heat welds that failed. I don't exactly know what goes into that of why that would fail. They use, the heat gun, they have the tar, and they have all the, that glues it down. One of the other leaks we had was due to a temporary condition that hasn't failed for months, and it was when they put the duct drops in, they have to go from below and they drill up through the roof, the existing roof and membrane, and they put a wire through which marks it out on the roof, so they know where they're at. Those wires are then caulked in place so that there's a temporary, caulk there while the duct drop is being made and then cut in.
Mm-hmm.
So one incident in Osborne was that someone must have stepped on that wire where they were doing work, where they were actually repairing that heat weld that had failed. So they were repairing one issue, but stepped on one and created another. And we didn't realize it until there was a little bit of rain that seeped through there. So what we had done to remediate that is we put our team up on the roof and they recaulked every single area that there wasn't a duct drop where there was a wire through. I mean, this is not really an issue anymore because the duct drops have been installed since. But that was a couple reasons why we were getting a couple extra leaks there that weren't even due to permanent work. The issue this morning, yes, I'm addressing it, and it, of course, it's concerning that we didn't just do fresh work there. So Young has people out there looking at it, or they will be out there shortly to address it from their side.
Okay. That'll be September, I believe. All right. That's all I had for old business. Anything from Rodney or Joe on old business?
Good.
Nothing. Hey.
All right, moving on to new business. The only issue I have for new business is that we have some hazmat exposure potentiality at North Stratfield.
Yes. There was PCBs found, or it was always there. As they removed the door, they did the additional testing to get to bless it. They found that it was still had PCBs in it. We did receive an email from the Woodward and Kern. We basically have two options. We can do additional testing and remove the brick that is hot, or we can encapsulate it. And then there's annual fees, annual monitoring and reporting on that. What Woodward and Kern is proposing is to do the sample, actually take two samples, but the second one they're going to hold it, and they're going to work out from where it was hot. They'll take the first sample. If that is clean, or that's where it ends. If that's hot, they'll test the second one and chase it that way. But their feeling is that they don't believe that they don't believe the first one will be hot. So the second one is just in case, so they don't have to remove it, and it doesn't get tested unless the inner one comes back hot as well.
What's our exposure on this?
The additional removing a brick and infill. It's on the electrical room door, which is it the one facing the bus, or is it on the service side, Tim? It's only one door at the electrical. Yeah.
It's only the one door, yeah.
It's only the one electrical door that came back hot. So the front vestibule is all clean, and it is just at the.
I think it's the existing door because,
yeah,
I think it's the existing door, not the new one we cut in, because there'd be no reason for them to have caulked anything there. Right. Usually it's where there's caulking with a frame. So I believe it's where the existing old door was, not the new one we cut in. That's all new frame and everything.
So it's truly back of house.
Yeah. My only concern is just getting the work done and getting the door back up, because now you have live switchgear in there. So that's my main thing. I think doing the work with Oscars is not going to be that cumbersome to cut the brick out. We'll do a containment. We'll do whatever we have to do to follow the measures. But if we go that route, it's just about, we have to move and do that relatively quick before school, obviously, of course. So we have time, but we have to get that next sample, and then we need to get them mobilized.
So when is the sample scheduled to be taken?
I told him to start scheduling because we had the meeting this morning, and if he doesn't hear from me, it's a go. I'll talk to him afterwards. on either way.
What is
but
his normal turnaround? Are we talking days, weeks? What is his, how quickly?
He said he could get, for sampling, he said a couple days. So I suspect by Monday, Tuesday of next week, he'll have the samples. And then it was, the previous one was 48 hours.
Hmm.
Turned into 60, but
So the
So
end of next
theoretically,
week,
by the
the
end
end
of
of
the
next
week.
week, you'll have clarity of the hotness, if that's the appropriate phrasing. And then the question to the committee is, I think, is do we want to go with a replace and refill versus a remediation and painting? Is that a choice?
an encapsulation.
Encapsulation, rather.
Remove an infill or encapsulation.
It's just,
The first preference for Fairfield
Yeah, it's
schools
just
is to
brick.
remove.
You encapsulate, you're basically kicking the can down the road.
I mean, we can get prices on both, but I would rather replace.
Agreed. Wholeheartedly agree.
Yeah, that's the better method, to be honest. Just
My
get it
initial
out there.
understanding is that the pricing is actually should be relatively similar.
Yeah.
So there's no compelling financial reason to do it anyways.
And,
Well,
politically,
if you-
it's the
if you-
expedient thing.
If you
I'm sorry, Sam.
Yeah, I'm sorry. If you encapsulate it, there's ongoing continuing testing costs because it has to be re-verified every, it depends on what the EPA says. It could be yearly, it could be every other year, it could be every fifth year, but there's ongoing testing costs if you leave it in place once it's known.
Okay.
Yeah, so we'll get the testing, we'll get the results, and then I can definitely let you guys. I can send you guys emails, keep you all in the loop of how best we proceed, and we can just get it done. I mean, again, it's a hazmat contingency item. We have Oscars ready to go, so we can just address it and make sure it's done. That way, we don't delay anything with that room. I mean, that room's done, but you know what I mean. We got to take care of the issue then.
Yeah, I mean, if there's no more exposure, then I would just say just go ahead and do it, get it done.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. I don't see any other issue where we're going to have this again. We're at the finish line.
And Rodney, Joe, our contingency for hazmat at North Stratfield is still in about the 180 range.
Oh, that's good.
So this should not cost anywhere near that. I've been shocked at some of these prices, but that one would really shock me.
Do you want it to?
Only if you had streamers.
Well, Tim will get out his magic dartboard and work something up for us.
Do you want it rebuilt with brick or with gold blocks? You just got to let me know what you want, the level of finish there.
Wonderful. All right. Any other new business from anyone? All right. Okay. Hearing none, moving on. Our next scheduled meeting is August 15th, so 2 weeks. Again, Tim, I'll expect to hear from you next week on a couple of this topic and the glass.
Will do.
Anything else for Joe, Rodney? You guys good?
Good.
Oh, sir.
All right. Very good. I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second it.
All right. All in favor?
Bye.
Aye.